Is love in the air, or is your relationship on the verge of destruction? Let's talk about it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your favorite cocktail as we discuss relationships, dating, sex, and love. Love on the rocks, that is. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks.
Hey, there we are.
Hi.
Oh, hey, what's up? It is welcome to Love on the Rocks, everyone. It's Roger the Wild Child, along with Megan, the Mouth of the South, Bennett.
It's me.
It is you. It's such a, fun time to be able to get together on a Monday night and just kind of hang out and talk about disastrous relationships.
Disastrous.
Yes.
A good way to unwind after a really long day.
Right. Exactly. And we only do that on Monday nights because the rest of the week, relationships are just fine. But on Monday nights, they all suck. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So we got a great show tonight.
We do.
We do. And you can thank Lydia for the topic.
Yes. She picked a good one this week.
Yes, she did. Ultimatums in relationships. If you loved me, you would blank. And we're going to get to that. We'll answer those questions and get everybody's thoughts on the whole thing. So, anyways. So welcome to Love on the Rocks. Let's go ahead and bring on our relationship influencers. Hello, Crystal.
Hi.
Lydia.
Howdy.
Drew. And Rachel.
What's up, everybody? Stop it.
So, Drew, do you want to bring somebody on the show with you?
Giselle, would you like to make an appearance live?
Yes.
Let the world meet Giselle. She's beautiful.
Yeah, we want to meet Giselle. Hello, Giselle.
Hi.
She's shy.
Good to have you.
They said good to have you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
We've heard so much
Let's say
about
that
you.
That's up with Drew shit.
Yes, girl.
Oh, I am a completely different person with her than I am with y'all. Yeah, she don't get the asshole, Drew. She gets
the sweet.
Yeah.
Aww.
We know
Do you
that.
bring her?
Yeah.
Do you bring her a box of chocolates and flowers and stuff like that?
He does all the good things for her.
I do plenty of good things.
Okay.
She gets the guy who doesn't make her squirt, and
that's what I was gonna say. We know a lot about you.
Yeah.
In fact, he doesn't
You're
do
not
that
you're not allowed to on those sheets.
Ew.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, Drew, shut up.
It's like embarrassing now.
All right.
It's okay.
Personal.
I'm sure that the 3 people watching will not judge her.
Right.
Way
Tonight's
to support your
topic.
show.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
Nice topic. Ultimatums.
Yes. In relationships, if you loved me, you would what or not?
That's bullshit.
Or not?
That's so stupid. It was like so
Why?
immature. Why would you do that to somebody?
I agree in that aspect. If you love somebody, you shouldn't put them through this.
Where do you draw the line? Like it starts off, yeah, if you love me, won't do drugs or alcohol. But then somewhere down the line when you realize your partner is gonna give in, you're like, oh, if you love me, you'll walk the dog.
There are some things that are a part of me that any woman that dates me is going to have to deal with, and I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a line. Like I'm not going to change. Especially if they're not going to change anything about themselves. Why the fuck? Obviously, they don't love me for who I am. No. I go out every goddamn night.
No, you don't get with somebody and then change them or have to change yourself.
100%.
Yeah, you're with somebody and they are perfect in your world and you're perfect in theirs. Otherwise, it's not the right person. You don't need a change because and they don't need to change either.
I think in Drew's situation, it's more of deal breakers versus an ultimatum.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm okay with a deal breaker. If a girl tells me that she can't be with me unless I do this, then I'm okay with her leaving because I'm way
Right.
too young to be changing anything about me that's not me. Now,
You
if
got to
I,
stay true to yourself.
yeah, and now if I'm being abusive and don't realize it, obviously that's something.
That's a different
Exactly.
scenario.
Different
Yeah.
thing. Yes,
So-
but if I'm just being myself and the only thing it's really affecting is me, and she can't deal with that, then I got it.
But if it's affecting the whole relationship, that's the line, right?
Remember the Zoe story?
Yes.
Yes.
That
Yes.
at one point in time said that she would never commit to me because I don't drink enough water. That bitch lived in a shithole apartment, made zero money, and had no personality. And she wanted
No
to act like
personality.
she was the fucking one in the relationship, right? Now with Giselle here, I haven't had to change a goddamn thing about me. In fact,
That's the way it should be.
absolutely. I had gone
She
on so
loves
many
you
first-
unconditionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But I had gone on so many first dates, and whenever our date got set up, because it was a blind date, I said, I'm sick of fucking this bullshit first date shit. I'm just gonna be 100% Drew, and if she doesn't like it, it's okay. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
See, I
Yeah.
feel like you don't change who you are for somebody else. And if somebody sits there and has to go far out and says, if you love me, then you're going to do this. If it's going to detriment the relationship, then, they may have a ground to stand on. But to sit there and, start setting up rules and stuff like that, how's that a healthy relationship? It should be natural, right? You should respect the
So you
person's
think a
views.
relationship with no rules is healthy?
No, I'm not saying that. I mean,
I do. I kind of think that's kind of cool.
What's
Like-
the what are the rules? What are the rules? Tell us the rules, Crystal. What rules would you have for a relationship?
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Can't be a dad.
In all the research.
Can't be broke.
No. There's a difference between like a boundary and an ultimatum. Psychologists will agree more often than not, ultimatums are a bad idea. Ultimatums are going to be silly things that are more like habits, not necessarily a personality trait. Like you don't want to change somebody's personality. Okay. So you should truly be yourself because that's how you know you're going to find the right people. But there are some things that maybe you might ask your partner to change that might cross a boundary that you have for some reason. And boundaries are very, very healthy. That's the thing that everybody will agree on as far as psychologists and the relationship experts that I was reading up on.
Okay.
But
So yeah, boundaries are great. That's where you say, okay, this is where I won't agree with that. And then at that point, that other person says, okay, I can walk away or, whatever. But I don't think that we should ever try to change the other person. But boundaries, yeah, I think we should all have them. But I don't feel like, and at that point, it's the other person's.
So if a
turn.
person keeps disrespecting your boundaries and you say,
no,
that's an ultimatum. You say,
no,
boundary or
no, when a person disrespects your boundaries, then you go away.
right, exactly.
so ultimatums aren't necessarily a bad thing in that aspect. However,
No, I don't think that's an ultimatum.
Oh,
I
if you
just
don't do the dishes, blah, 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 blah. Like habits, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Wait, so which one's more
definitely.
important for you, habits or ultimatum? Like, so you're saying that you should be able to change somebody's habits, but not their personality. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think you should change anything. I think you should just, have, you meet somebody and then they are who they are and it works perfectly for you or it doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
So
So
my logic is if I cook dinner, then you should probably do the dishes.
Well, that's
Right.
Oh, yeah,
That's compromise.
That's
Yeah,
compromise.
Yeah,
that's
but if
kind of, that's kind of hot. I like
but
that.
if
That's good.
Giselle doesn't do the dishes, I'm gonna do the fucking dishes. So the dishes are
Aw.
getting done. So the dishes are getting done.
But you're not going to make her
So-
squirt.
No, hell no. Hell no. Never in a million. Never in a million years will I. I'll never even attempt it.
You will, because you're just a little boy, but white.
I'm just a little boy.
So back to the topic. Back to the topic. Because we're trying to do that today, remember? So all of the research, though, centered around ultimatums as far as advancing the relationship. I will throw that out there. So all of the numbers on ultimatums and relationship come from people wanting to take their relationship to the next step. Like, okay, if you don't want to go to the next step, then I'm okay with walking away, or like I'm gonna bounce, whatever the case may be. So
I think
when I'm talking numbers and that stuff, that's what I'm talking about. Not if you don't do the dishes, blah blah blah.
I just think it's very immature.
I think someone not wanting to go to the next step when you're actually pursuing that is actually a way better reason to end the relationship than someone.
What about
exactly?
Yes.
What about if you go out with the bar? You go out to the bar with the guys, or you go out to the bar with the girls. We're done.
Oh, fuck that! Fuck that! That means she's jealous, and that means she doesn't trust me.
No.
If you loved me, you wouldn't have all these other friends.
Babe, do I go out with the guys? Do I go out with girls that are also my friend?
Yeah. But there's
do you have a problem with that?
There's a
Zero
line.
fucking problems. No, it's trust. It's trust.
No. Yeah, no, I'm talking about trust. Yeah, absolutely. It's about trust. But when it becomes an every single day, this is personally speaking, not for everybody, but personally speaking, like if it's an every single day thing or it causes more rifts, it's an issue. And it's not, well, if you love me, you won't go to the bar. It's, hey, let's come to a compromise and moderate it, or, do spend time with me instead of so much at the bar or drinking or at the strip club or whatever it may be. I think that's a line. If it starts affecting your future and the relationship, like a talk needs to be had and sat down and said, look, this is my concern. This is how I feel. Can we come up with a compromise? I think that's important. I don't think it's a matter of if you love me, you wouldn't go. I mean, if that makes sense. I know what I'm trying to say in my head right now.
My logic is that she could easily be there with you. And
sometimes you don't want her with you. Sometimes you don't want her with you. Sometimes you want to go out without. Oh, look, Colette.
That's my sister.
There's not a single moment where I'm out where I wouldn't rather have her next to me.
But
if she doesn't want to go, and I do, I'm going to go, and she's going to not.
But and that's great for you guys, and you guys have that trust, you have that security in your relationship. But there are couples out there where he or she has strayed from the relationship, and then he says, "I'm going to the bar," and then, or she is, like I said,
they shouldn't be together. That's
a trust issue. Well, I agree if there's trust issues, whatever, but but at that point, you're like trying to keep a leash to save your relationship. So I get the fact.
What are you saving? It's going to be a failed relationship. Hands down. That is a relationship.
It's a recipe for disaster. I get that
100%. So why would you try and save it? Are you
but it's not if that person.
Are you going to try and drive a boat with a hole in the bottom? No, you're not. You're going to get a new fucking boat. No, you're going to get a new fucking boat. That's what you're going to do.
Drew, it's very good that you know that lesson. However, some people have to learn that one the hard way.
Right.
Several times.
So I'm glad you have a stereotypical relationship.
Yeah.
And you are the model of all relationships, Drew.
At this point, I don't think it is a stereotypical relationship.
But see,
I know more people in toxic relationships than I do in good ones.
Let me just say, like, Drew, your comment when you said if, like, going to the bar every day, if Giselle wanted to be with you, she would be there. Not everybody in a relationship has that ability. Like some of us, like me or Crystal or like anybody, have kids, and the other partner may be single, and they're not able to be there every time.
Okay. You stay home, and the guy gets to go do what he wants to do because he has a life outside of you, and that's how it works.
Right, but when it interferes with your life with them,
how does it interfere? Is it their kid too that's at the house, or is it your kid?
It could be their kid. It could be
it very well could. Either way.
It's different. If it's their kid, then now they're abandoning their responsibility to the child they made. Now, if it's not their kid, that woman had a kid, and that guy doesn't have a kid. His life should not change because she decided to have a kid with another guy. Period. Should.
But he chose to be in a relationship with somebody that had
With
a kid.
her.
Because he loves her 100%.
Right.
100%.
Right. Well, if you
But
love
if you
her,
love
you're gonna
her,
love the
then
kid
you have
too.
to accept the child.
But her life is not changing. She's still doing this typical shit she does every day. And now he has to change to accommodate her. And if he wants to go grab a goddamn fucking Coors Light at the bar, he's going to go grab a goddamn Coors Light at the bar because he didn't make that fucking kid. Some other dude in Pennsylvania made that dude and fucking left.
How do you know it's Pennsylvania?
I just think that as a random state. That's far away.
I don't think it's fair to say that their life is not going to change, because if they were single with their child and now they are dating you, they're taking time away from their child to go spend with you that they would have already been spending with their child.
Well, realistically, their child should be half the time with the other person.
Yeah, but not.
But when they
everything
have a
is
dad who's not
realistically.
worth a shit,
What-
that
what
doesn't
if the
always go
father
that way.
died?
But you
What
can
if
go
the father
back
died?
all the way to if he died. That's different. That is different.
But see, that's the thing. There's so
but
many different
I'll
variables.
tell you this: if I had a kid, I'm not putting that responsibility on anybody else other than myself. If the mother
It's
is
nobody
dead
else's
or-
responsibility.
Exactly.
I'm
No, it's
saying
not.
that if something like the bar interferes with your relationship and it's starting to cause a rift, that's when
Mhm.
you sit down and say, hey, let's come up with a compromise.
Mhm.
Or if you have plans with this person and it's being canceled and they're running off to the bar, that's an issue.
Okay, but also
When
if
one
the,
of the
if the woman was
choices
single,
is healthier for everybody involved and the other choice is unhealthy for anybody involved, that's where it becomes a boundary.
Right.
If the woman was single, she'd be doing the same shit. She'd be at home with the kid. If she's in a relationship, she'd be at home with the kid. That
Well,
it
that's
is what it is.
because that's her responsibility. That's her number one
Exactly.
responsibility.
Right.
But if she has a babysitter, she can go out and do her thing.
100%. That's her
Right.
responsibility. That is your job. You had a kid, you have jobs now. That your life is over. That kid's life is your life. That's how it works. That's how it should work.
Over, your life is just different.
No, your life is over. Your life is
No.
committed to that
No,
child.
it's not
I
over.
can't,
No.
you know what?
No.
Drew, I cannot take you
guys are-
serious while you're
no, you-
holding a pipe over there. And
Oh
smoking.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, it's not my cousin's dick. My bad. Anyway, back to the fucking conversation.
At least he makes me squirt.
Nah, I can make the babe squirt.
Oh my god.
Back
Anyway,
to topic.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. If you have a child, you have made the decision that that child is now your fucking entire. And I'm not saying your life is over, as in your life sucks now. No, I'm saying that your life no longer matters. That's not your priority. Your priority is that child's life. And if you start dating, you can't expect that guy who didn't create that child to also take half of that responsibility. So if he wants to go to the fucking bar and have a beer, but he's still going to come home, take care of you, be kind to you, do shit for you, then that's okay. 100%. And if you're not okay with that, then you're a bad person.
No, I agree with
no,
that.
you're not a bad person.
No,
Yes, you
I
are.
think that's all. No, I think that's all. That makes 100% sense, actually.
I think in
Mhm.
this whatever. I think in this instance, that's the word I was looking for. The ultimatum would be, and this is, I found this on Reddit. A guy wrote, he was like, I was an out of control drunk, and my wife said it was our family or the alcohol. Years later, I'm still married and I'm sober. He's like, so ultimatums are not always a bad thing.
That's fair.
Because that's a boundary.
Yeah. If the ultimatum is to make
But if she's, I think
situation.
that constitutes as an ultimatum, because it's like, you either stop drinking or I'm leaving you. I don't think that's a boundary. I think that's an ultimatum. It's either, our marriage is completely over, instead of just like, we're taking a break, you need to work on yourself. I would say that would be more of a boundary in that situation. But
Well, if you're in a relationship with an alcoholic or drug addict, it becomes an issue of your own health, your mental health, and your physical health, and your personal safety. So
if they loved you, they would work on that and take
wouldn't
care of it
put
so
you-
they weren't hurting you.
I think that's more of if they love themselves, they'd stop. That really comes down to how do you want to treat yourself? Because what's happening is you're not necessarily. There's people who are completely fucking alcoholics, drunks that don't do shit at the house that's actually affecting people. What's happening?
Then why
is
would you want to
now-
date somebody like that? So
Okay.
right there, that's
So
red
what's
flag
happening is they're really hurting themselves, and they might be in the future taking away the support they provide from their family. And that's where the problem actually lies. So it's not really what you're doing to the family now. It's what you're eventually going to do to the family when you're dead. And because, for example, I go out all the time. Am I an alcoholic? Absolutely not. I'm actually more addicted to just being around people. If Giselle's with me, I don't care where the fuck we are. We can be upstairs watching goddamn Star Wars for fucking 20 hours. We can be, at the fucking park. I don't care where I just want to be around people. And that's a big thing. But if you're drinking by yourself at the house, you're not really affecting anybody more than yourself. That's who's really being affected the most. And it's not really a problem for the woman as much as it is a problem, or I'm sorry, the partner, as it is for you. You're going to die.
It is a problem for the partner if the drinking causes behavioral changes,
exactly,
fights,
100%. You're absolutely right.
Financial issues.
Oh, that's actually probably more common than domestic abuse is the financial problems. Fucking alcohol is getting expensive. Take it from me.
If you go gambling, we're done.
If at all?
No, I mean, listen.
Fantasy football gone? Bye.
Well, it depends on the situation. If this person is like gambling and spending all their money and taking away from the family,
separate bank accounts.
Well,
sometimes
it doesn't always go that
Roger,
far.
by that logic, the woman can't support the family on her own in this scenario. Is what you're
correct.
saying.
So they're together, husband and wife. They got a kid,
but they're gonna end the relationship, and she's still the sole provider of that child. So what does she do?
Well, first of all,
she can't afford it.
No, she can't, and that's the problem why people stay in relationships for financial security, not because they're in love with somebody. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is, what if her, or like I said, it could go the other way around. He's working his butt off, and she's out going to the casinos, playing poker every single weekend, blowing all their money. Okay. And he's working his butt off now, and he's got to work overtime just to make up for the stuff that she's blowing. Can that ultimatum is fair?
It doesn't make sense though, because if he does leave her, he's still in the same situation. He's a single dad, one income, taking care of him and a child. It's the same problem still. But my advice is to get better at poker.
I don't know. I just think that in a relationship, if you're in a solid relationship and you two really care about each other, there's no would you.
Yeah.
If you love me, you do this. Like there's compromise. Exactly. Mm-hmm. There's compromise. I think that's what it all boils down to.
But you don't tell people. You don't do that. Like, if you love me, I'll do this. You don't do that, right? Here's
one.
immature.
No.
Here's one that we can. It says, did I do the right thing by giving an ultimatum after 6 months of dating? Either we're in a relationship or we're not. She said, I had been seeing a guy for 6 months. I really like him, but I feel like I was always the one that was reaching out, calling him, planning dates. I had a talk with him and told him that either we're in a relationship, aka boyfriend and girlfriend, or we would no longer be seeing each other. He asked for time to think about it, and I said no.
Oh, yeah, a jail-free card.
So this situation is what.
That's not a relationship.
So stupid. Yeah,
that's not a relationship.
That's not a relationship.
It's not.
They aren't dating already.
Yeah,
so
they aren't dating.
If they're just fucking around and he's not committing to her, 100% that girl should just go date somebody else.
This type of situation is what like all the research I found was on, and they are almost never successful.
Yeah, no, it won't be. If
they
want to be with you, they will be with you.
If you're 6 months in, they've made up their mind.
Right. Yeah. 6 months. Yeah.
And if they're not committed, then they want to fuck other women. That is, and they will fuck other women.
So I just say, like at 6 months, like that's when you actually like really get to know a person. So that's like a good time to make that decision. Some people might need a little bit longer, maybe depending on how often they were able to see each other and get to know each other.
Exactly. Depends on how many dates they're going on. If you go on 3 dates and it takes 3 weeks, you're going to start like that third date. I think things are different.
Yeah.
You know, the first two, you're kind of pretending to be somebody else. That third date, the real you starts to peek through. And I think 6 months is actually a long ass fucking time.
I think 6 months is a good turning point.
No,
you're
hanging out for 6 months. Like, you've seen almost every side of them at that point.
By 6 months, you should know if you're connected or if you're not connected.
Oh, 100. And if you don't, that means that you have seen.
And I'm not talking about at the hip.
Those 6 months. You have gone on 6 dates in 6 months if you don't know if they're right for you.
Around 6 months is also when you usually figure out like all of the like
ins and outs.
Yeah, that's when you're at that comfortable level where you're like, okay, like, is this somebody that I want to have a serious relationship with and potentially, I guess, marry for most people. And like I said, a lot of the research was people giving ultimatums at that point or saying like, if you're not going to get married, like, I want to break up. There's actually a show about it.
Mm-hmm.
The Ultimatum.
Yeah,
Hosted by a
there's a Netflix show.
Yeah, hosted by a couple whose relationship kind of started with an ultimatum, but not really.
I think that's circumstantial. I don't think that works. I mean, for everybody. There might be someone that works for. If there's somebody in the relationship that just has a bad self-image of themselves, if you're not confident in yourself, that's where ultimatums work. Is how I see it.
Opposite of that. I got too much confidence.
But no, that's what I'm saying. But if you had a guy who had a low self-esteem and you gave him an ultimatum, he's going to do what you want. If he has high confidence, he's going to say, "That's fine. I can fucking find somebody else."
I don't think it's about confidence, dog. I think it's more.
It's about high self-esteem. No, if someone gives you an ultimatum and you're 6 months in, you don't even know if this is going to be a thing.
It's probably not going to be a thing.
I guess that's really the thing is if you are if you know this is a solid relationship and they give you an ultimatum, that's completely different than if this is just dating in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they give you an ultimatum.
Yeah. No, I do
that's
agree
the
with
real
that.
big game changer. Yeah.
I do agree with that.
If you give me an ultimatum and I don't even know if I want to be with you for the rest of my life, and you give me an ultimatum, you know me, I live in Houston, Texas.
Me too. So all three of us.
There's
a
lot of fucking women here.
Yeah, hell
and
yeah.
I got the best one.
There we go.
Yeah, that's damn
Not
right.
the
Hey, come on.
So what would be considered
I got the
toxic
best one.
ultimatums?
Toxic ultimatums. Cutting off your same or opposite sex best friends. I think that's toxic.
No, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute right there.
Depends on if they fuck that best friend.
No. If they've slept together, it's different. But if they've been platonic their entire relationship and they're very close, and then you start dating that person who you just met, but they've been friends with that person for years, and you try and take them away from that person, that's toxic.
Oh, right.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because
imagine, Roger, if you started dating somebody and they said that you couldn't ever talk to Megan again.
Oh, fuck that. Megan's my best friend.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up a friendship because they have a pussy. That's fucked up.
I agree. 100%. So
I'll come out gay.
I was just about to say that.
I'll come out gay. Give up Paul.
I'm just about to say that.
But what about so you just say you dated somebody in the past and you guys broke up and then you guys became best friends and then you got this other person in your relationship. Do they have a right to give you that ultimatum?
I don't know about the ultimatum. They have a right to be uncomfortable with it, and there definitely has to be a next level of trust developed there. Because if you have slept with someone, that means you at one point were attracted to them, and shit does happen. Mm-hmm. So I don't. There is. I understand why someone would be upset by it, but I also understand where the person might say, "Hey, no, this is a deal breaker."
I think it's a respect issue.
I love that person, and I don't want to give them up. We didn't work as a couple, but I definitely want them in my life. I understand that completely.
I think whether you've like slept with them or not in the past, if it's an opposite sex best friend, like if you're with someone, that should be your best friend. That should be like, if there's another opposite sex and it makes that person it makes you uncomfortable, it's a respect factor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if that person divorces you and takes half your shit, who's going to be there for you? Your actual best friends.
Right.
Your actual best friends.
Yeah, Megan will be there for me.
The people
So,
that
yeah.
you stopped hanging out with because you were dating that person are still going to be there when that person leaves you and takes half your shit. So, I mean, you know?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but if you're with someone and you're like a solid couple and there's an opposite sex best friend and at times they're being put before you in your place, like that's an issue. And that's when you say, "Hey, like we
That's
need to
more
have a
of
talk. I'm
They
uncomfortable."
shouldn't be before them 100%. And I don't have as much
Absolutely.
experience on this topic
Mhm.
because I don't stay friends with my exes. I you know how
Right.
there's friend zoning? I have
Mhm.
relationship zoning. I don't want to be anything other than in a relationship with you. If we're not in a relationship, we're not talking. That's
Yeah, I
Right.
agree.
it.
Right,
But if there's a girl that you grew up with and you guys never had anything and they're your best friend and they've been there for every hardship you've ever been through, there's no way in hell I'm giving that up because a
Yeah.
girl that might dump me is in my life.
I think out of respect for your former partner, that if they're in a relationship, that you take the back seat and you're like, listen, I know they're in a relationship. I'll still be in his life, but I'm not going to be the primary person in their life.
And I don't know anybody that's in a relationship that wants to see their ex with somebody else. Honestly.
Oh, I don't give a fuck about any of my exes.
Yeah, well, do you talk to him after you guys break up?
No.
Okay, so that's the difference. If you're friends with this person, the last thing they
I
want to see.
was with Rodney, like I was friends with him for, oh my God, 25 years.
Before or
And
after the relationship?
it's been
Throughout.
off and on, but we're completely done and we have no contact, like whatsoever, none.
Okay.
I refuse.
So if you guys were friends, how would you feel about him being with somebody? How would you want to
No, I
see
don't
him
give a
with
fuck.
somebody else?
I don't give a
You
fuck.
don't give a fuck. Okay. Okay. How would he feel about you being with somebody else?
He'd get
He
butthurt.
would. Yeah, he would.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd get butthurt.
And one of the people in the relationship is going to be like that. Like my ex, my big ex, the first thing she did when we met up for the first time after the breakup was tell me about all the people that she was fucking after the breakup. And the last thing I was gonna do.
I don't think anybody wants to hear
Watch her
that.
dirty little whore mouth. Look at kids around.
Oh no, this is what she said to me. I'll never forget this. So I used to make fun of her because she'd say she was bisexual, and I'd say, "Well, you've only taken dick. You've never even been with a girl, so you have no idea." And she would say, "No, I'm bi." I was like, "Okay, well, date a girl, and I'll believe you." And we broke up, and we went and got coffee, and the first thing she said to me was like, "I want to date with a girl." And I go, "That's cool." She goes, "I ate her out and I made her come." And I said, "That's impressive. That's awesome. I'm very proud of you." And she goes, "Well, I'm a girl, so I know how to eat pussy." And I was like, "I don't know how to suck a dick."
No shit, right?
But you know, like when we broke up, like I was heartbroken, but I also had a roster. Like I had women that I was a bartender. I had girls hitting on me every night. And I had people ready for me to be single.
Thank you.
But I wasn't about to tell her about it. I wasn't about to brag in her face. Oh, look at this Brazilian supermodel I went out with. No, I'm not going to do that shit. But she did. And that's the last thing I wanted to hear about. So typically, if you're in a relationship, the last thing that person.
So was she jealous of you because you were a bartender and she knew all these girls were flirting with you?
She was also a bartender. We worked together. I watched her get hit on mid-shift.
Where?
We opened the Rustic in the Galleria area. We were the first two bartenders there.
That's hilarious.
While we were dating, we acted. Our rule is that we were single when we were behind the bar because I didn't want her to miss out on. I didn't want her to miss out on tips and shit like that.
I always say it's a bad idea to date anybody that you work with. You don't.
Horrible idea.
Well, we met there, and
it should have been.
But the job was never the problem. The job was never the problem. But because I was a very secure guy, I didn't care. You know, I didn't care who flirted with her. She came up to me one day. She's like, "I'm so sick of being harassed." And I said, "What's wrong?" She goes, "That guy over there walked up to me and he said, 'You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I just had to let you know that.'" And I said,
"Why not harassment?"
I wish that I was harassed because you haven't complimented me in months. But no, there's this one guy that gave me a piece of paper with his phone number on it and said, "Hey, can you give it to the girl bartender?" And my first thought was, "You're a bitch for not just asking her yourself." but I'll do it. I live with this woman, but I'll do it. And so I went up to her and I slapped her on the ass and said, "Hey, babe,
here it is. Yeah.
This guy wants your number." And he got like beat red. But our rule was that we're single behind the bar. I just thought it'd be funny in that instance to do that because she would lose out on tips if she was in a relationship with the other bartender.
Yeah. That
but you
makes
have to
sense.
be secure. Yeah, you have to be secure.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, that's my whole world, actually.
Okay, I have a different scenario. What about dating a stripper?
No.
Absolutely not.
Nope. Those bitches be fucking for $300 in the back. I am not dating a stripper.
Not.
My aunt works at a strip club as a waitress, or she used to. And I go in there and I have these girls trying to get me to pay for shit in the back, and their boyfriend be there with them.
So the ultimatum there would be, if you loved me, you would quit your job.
I wouldn't start dating a stripper.
And then she would say, if you loved me, you would trust me.
No, that's different. I wouldn't be dating her in the first place. You work at a strip club. I'm not going to date you.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a stripper, if you're a bartender.
I respect the hustle, but just like I wouldn't date a fat bitch, I'm not going to date a stripper.
Yeah, there are some professions that they may be great people, but
I don't care how much
can't
money
deal
they
with it,
make.
so I won't date them.
They could be a fucking millionaire stripper. Nope, I know what you do, and if you're mine, you're mine.
Colette.
That's her boyfriend.
I mean, that's fair. That's
Not
fair.
her boyfriend, that's her pimp.
But that's fair. But if he was a pimp, he would have had way more money. That dude was broke. That was her deadbeat boyfriend. I'm 100%.
How do you know he was broke?
Yeah.
I'm a bartender. I know when someone's broke.
You were a bartender.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still a bartender, baby.
Where?
All day. I bartend at the U.S. Money Reserve, selling gold. I bartend on that phone.
Gold bars.
Where are you
Gold
bartending?
Gold
Roger and I are gonna
a gold
tomorrow.
bartender. Yeah, I'm a gold bartender. No, I can read people is what I'm saying, and I know that motherfucker. Just the way he talked, I knew he's broke. His values, I knew he's broke. I know a broke person from a mile away. I can tell you who's the poorest person in this podcast right now.
Who?
It's Megan.
What now?
What?
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's you.
Know.
It's you.
You're judging a book by its cover.
No, I know Megan. I've read the book.
Oh, shut up, Drew.
Anywho,
It might be Lydia because she's in art and that makes no money. So it might be Lydia.
Oh, Crystal.
It could be
That
Crystal
very
because
well
she's a teacher in the hood in Chicago.
It could be
An
might be
art
Crystal.
teacher. An art
Yeah.
teacher.
An art teacher. An art teacher in the hood of Chicago. It might be Crystal. Megan,
You'd be wrong.
you're in health, right?
Yeah. I'm in medical.
And Lydia, you make movies. Well, they're independent movies. What's your job outside of that?
I am a mom.
Okay.
I'm a mom.
It's either Lydia or Megan.
What about me? Why can't I be in this?
Yeah.
He
I
isn't
think-
comfortable picking on you yet.
I don't want to count sugar daddy money as income, but I am in this instance going to count sugar daddy money as income. I think you have people that you've never met in person sending you money, and I'm going to count that towards your income.
So
You probably met them at the family reunion.
Okay, so Drew's
Roger, we have the same jobs, but now it's not
Yes. I know it's not me.
you guys might be interested to know. Okay, so
I'm not.
I came across a whole bunch of celebrity couple ultimatums and how those worked out. One successful one that I think some of you guys will be happy to hear about is actually Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. So, and
I hate
they're
Faith
like
Hill.
first couple of country music.
But I love Tim McGraw.
I love Tim McGraw.
Does
I
it?
fucking love Tim McGraw.
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
The ultimatum for dating Tim McGraw is that you have to stay Tim McGraw because you're perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Faith actually issued an ultimatum that helped him make some lifestyle changes that were more healthy for them as a couple and as a family.
Stop
And
wearing straw during felt season, Tim.
It made him a better person. So some ultimatums are good. However,
What was the ultimatum?
for him to stop partying so much, stop drinking so much, and get his shit together.
Yeah.
But then
when she said it to him, he was a fucking millionaire, so he had his shit together.
So was she.
Yeah. So he had his shit together.
No.
He was
Your income and having your shit together are not necessarily connected, but there are some celebrity couples that we missed out on or that we never really got to see because someone decided to issue an ultimatum, like Diane Keaton and Al Pacino. Did you guys know they were a couple?
No, I did know that.
No.
Yeah, now he impregnated like a 19-year-old.
Right. Well, Diane Keaton wanted to get married, and Al Pacino was like, "Nope." So they broke up. We almost had that couple, guys.
I mean,
I didn't know they were together.
I think it'd be very hard to be married as a movie actor, especially someone on the level of Al Pacino, because he's going to do movies in other countries constantly. There's going to be no teamwork in that relationship. That makes sense. And she's going to be off doing her own shit too. So I wouldn't get married in his shoes either.
Yeah, but you can't you just can't put that on celebrities because you can, like, what is it? The line workers that, like, what was it last year when they had the hurricanes in Florida and all the line workers went down to Florida for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then all these girls found out that their boyfriends were on Tinder looking for girls in that area
while they were down there.
That's a completely different scenario, though.
No, but it's not
I
because
have to go to different countries every week for a new movie. That's a completely different
because
scenario.
if you go to another country for a movie, you're there for 2-3 months
and then
you go home.
And that's a common occurrence. This is a hurricane that brought them there. They're not going to be moving.
And how many places do you have to go in the United States to work on the lines? And at how many different times? That was just one instance that
without a natural disaster, you're most likely going to be working from where you live. Whereas a movie could be filmed. This movie could be filmed here, and that movie can be filmed there. If that's your job, you are guaranteed to be in a different fucking state.
Yeah, but you're not guaranteed to get a part. You can go years without getting a part.
If you're Al fucking Pacino, you are.
It doesn't matter. Like, he could still. When was the last time he was in a movie?
I think it was The Gentleman or what? The Irishman. Wasn't he in The Irishman?
When was that?
That was like 3 years ago. 2 years ago, maybe.
Okay, so what has he done in those 3 years? That he would have gone away,
make
for
babies
months at a time.
Yeah, he impregnated a 19-year-old. That's what he did.
But I mean, you're saying that a lineman, they only when this happens. But we just gave an example that Al Pacino hasn't done anything in 3 years.
Yeah, but when you're in the height,
there he goes. He grabs his phone.
But back when Diane Keaton and him were talking, he was in every other movie, so that's a whole different scenario. Now he's fucking 80 years old.
Look at Angelina Jolie.
And Brad Pitt.
So beautiful, yeah.
But what was the last thing that Angelina was in?
Oh,
the
God.
last thing that Angelina Jolie was in was it wasn't Wanted. It wasn't Wanted. She did something after that. But Brad Pitt has in shit every year.
But it just goes to show that these A-list celebrities do go years without doing things.
Oh, for sure.
Well, not
so
in their
it's
height.
not
the peak of their
out of town all the time for work.
Damn, her last movie was fucking Eternals. Yeah, the Marvel movie. She was in 2021. And then she did a movie before that, and then she did one in 2020, then she did another one in 2020, then she did Maleficent in 2019. Then she did. So she's been consistently in movies.
I can't stand
You just
her.
didn't watch it.
No, I have.
I don't know.
And she's in every single Kung Fu Panda. Also, yeah. So there's those.
Voice actors can record from home.
They don't though. They go to the studio.
They absolutely have that opportunity.
How many kids she has? She totally recorded that.
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
Adopted half of them.
Oh my god.
They're still her kids.
Brad Pitt, on the other hand, has been in movies consistently every year.
It's fucking Brad Pitt.
That's a hard relationship to be in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I mean, he is a very still to this day, since Fight Club, has been A-list actor who, if you can get him in your movie, he's gonna be in the fucking movie. He was in Deadpool.
I'm not negating the fact that these people are not good actors. I'm just saying that you can't guarantee that they're always going to have a role. So to break up a relationship because you think that they're going to be gone for a few months at a time, that, like that doesn't make sense because you don't know that they're going to get that role.
So could you be in a long distance relationship? Would you be capable of a long distance relationship?
Well, that's completely different than an
That's
ultimatum.
what it is.
Yeah.
No. That's what being an actor is you're guaranteed to be in a long distance relationship every.
But I think if you're an actor,
remember
and
sometimes they travel with them, though. You know,
yeah, unless they're both actors, and he's got to fucking do Bullet Train, and she's got to do goddamn.
It's all about trusting the relationship.
But Roger, didn't we have this conversation when we had Eric Roberts on the show?
We did.
And
I can't go multiple months without cuddles. I can't. It's not happening.
But that's you.
100%. And I'm not the only one.
So we had an actor on the show with his
Eric
wife
Roberts,
who was also in the entertainment
actors,
industry.
What does she do?
Military spouses.
She works in the entertainment industry.
So she does go with him.
No.
Okay, then they're just okay.
You probably know him from Batman: Dark Knight.
No, I remember the guy. He was supposed to go to Burbank with us, and he didn't.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
I remember the guy.
Yeah, well,
I never met him.
Like 25
Julia
years.
Roberts' brother,
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Emma Roberts' uncle.
Dad or uncle.
No, Dad. Emma Roberts is.
Oh, it's her dad. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
His dad.
And
Big Emma Roberts fan over here.
Eric Roberts now does a lot of indie films, so he travels a lot for that. And they don't pay for your spouse or partner to come because they're trying to keep it as low budget as possible. So he's constantly traveling for those.
Now, you guys are talking about, it not being long distance because the spouse or significant other can travel to the person who's working off, in another state or whatever. But don't forget, there are military spouses that aren't even able to go with.
That don't have that choice.
Number one person that's cheated on is a military person overseas.
It's actually
getting cheated on. 100%. You've been gone for a year, and she's 4 months pregnant when you get back. That shit. They are the number one most cheated on person, and they're probably some of the best people on the planet.
My brother's been in the military 19 years. He's been married for 12. They have 3 kids together. He's done numerous tours. She's never cheated on him once.
Right.
So it's not always an issue.
Hashtag anomaly.
It's not always.
Not always an issue.
My uncle went to Germany when right out of high school when he fought in Desert Storm.
True.
And his high school girlfriend, that's the first issue, high school girlfriend. And she went with him. And then he came back from doing his job in Germany, and she had packed her shit and left and fucked his best friend back home.
Oh,
that's a whore.
And then he fucked all of Germany. I guarantee you. I got a big ass stocky cousin somewhere over there in Germany. Racist as fuck too. I guarantee it. But yeah, I mean, like it happens constantly.
It does, and it's sick.
So would the ultimatum be like, you leave your job or we're not in a relationship?
No, that would be you wouldn't date somebody who has
in the military
at home.
Yeah, typically.
Yeah, but what if you already were married and then they chose to go into that career?
Most likely they're straight out of high school. There's not as much that go into the military later. Most of them
not just talking just the military, but like any job, like oil riggers, stuff like that. Like people who.
If you're married prior to the other person going and taking this job, I think that should be a joint decision.
It should be whichever way is best for the family at that point, because you are a team. So if moving there is going to provide a better life for the entire family, then you have to go.
I agree.
Period.
I agree.
We're not just talking about like uprooting and moving there. We're talking about like one person going, the other
they should all go. If it's the best for the family, they should all go. No, because if you're married, okay. So in this scenario, are you married with no kids or married with kids?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Like military,
it's a big difference
on a
because
deployment.
your kids have to have both parents present.
I follow this one TikToker. His name is Alan. His job is he goes and works on a ship for 28 days at a time, and then he's home for 28 days. Now, had he taken that job after they got married, and she says, you know what, if you don't quit that job, I'm leaving you, that would be the ultimatum of their relationship, because now he's gone half of the year, it ends up.
Okay, so but he can come home. But if you get a job offer that this is your new place, like this is where you live now,
That's completely different.
Completely different.
You guys gotta make that decision as a couple.
So he can come home.
Completely different.
If it's better for the family, then that should be a priority, is what I'm saying. If you have kids, the kids have to have both parents involved. They have to. The most crime comes out of single parent households. That is a fact. You need both.
I worked in a prison.
Yeah, 100%. You need both. But at the same time, if you can get it done by both moving, and that's best for the family, then you both should go.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what career. It depends on what career.
It depends on the career.
A wife, and it's not even about how much money you make. If the wife is in a career that she wanted to be since she was a little girl, fuck no, you're not going to leave that. You're doing exactly what you dreamed of doing. But if you're fucking working some bullshit job just to make ends meet, and he gets a job that can take care of everything, why wouldn't you go?
Okay, so now we'll pick up on what you said. She got her dream job.
Yeah. And he got his dream job.
Okay. He proposes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, well, we're not going to get married unless you quit your job, and because I want you to stay home.
Don't get married.
Well, that's the ultimatum.
Yeah, right. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
You know what I mean?
Because every person deserves to be doing what they absolutely want.
They do.
100%.
I'm just saying. I'm just, like that would be the ultimatum. Like she went into the engagement thinking, oh, like we both have our dream jobs. We're going to have this great marriage. And then he's like, oh, well, you know what? If you don't leave your job, then we're not getting married, because I want someone who's going to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
So, but the difference is
but that's a choice if she accepts it.
But that ultimatum is not changing who someone is. That's different though, because that ultimatum isn't making someone change who they are. It's making someone change from who they're supposed to be. Like they are who they are, and you're making them not be that instead of making someone better. That's the difference between the two.
Right.
You're making them not be themselves.
Looks like she has to say something.
Yeah, she does.
I'm
Crystal, you have Crystal
language.
I don't know what you did this morning, but you have the most perfect ramen noodle hair tonight, and I really
because
is that shrimp
in a
or
day,
chicken? Is that shrimp or chicken?
Wait, in a day. Oh, you're too young, Drew. Never mind.
Too young.
It's gonna be May.
It's gonna be May. I go to karaoke every fucking Friday, Crystal. I know. And sing.
That was great, Drew.
We got one more day, and then we can say it.
That's great.
I've been missing a lot of the stuff a lot of the little nuggets I've been giving you guys. You've been missing, but Drew, I'm really disappointed in you for that one.
Why? Because you got the same haircut as Justin Timberlake right now?
No, it just took you too long.
I get it. He had the ramen noodle back in the day when he was raping Britney Spears. I get it. You modeled your hair after that. I'm so proud of you.
Anyway, back to what I was going to say.
Is it al dente?
Because we're getting back on topic.
Is your hair al dente?
If what?
Is your hair al dente? How long did you boil it?
Oh, al dente is what you meant to say.
Yeah, I can say what I want.
On topic.
How long did you boil it? 2 minutes?
Listen, not everybody can do their dream job everywhere. Okay, so you have to take that into consideration. I cannot necessarily just go anywhere and teach. Certifications might be different, or it might be a state I would just straight up get fired in by lesson number 1. So,
but your job that you're at right now, there's shootings happening at the area. So I guarantee that there's probably a better one somewhere else.
Maybe, just depends on your personal preferences. I really
when you walk to the door, do you hear beep?
Oh, you're asking about the mouse?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I can get you a job in Keokuk, Iowa as a teacher. There's no beeping, okay? And a house is fucking cheap.
Well,
It's only 3 hours away from you.
There are certain things that I will not talk about, and I am not going to get into political discussion because unfortunately my job has become highly politicized.
It's in Chicago.
It is being used as a weapon. It ain't being used as a weapon here, buddy.
No, Chicago.
I couldn't go work in Texas right now. I'd be fired by like week number 1.
What, do you have an OnlyFans?
No, I do not have an OnlyFans. Thank
Oh
you.
God, Drew.
Not that there's anything wrong with that for those who do, just not my thing. Maybe you don't know how highly politicized it's become.
I know exactly what Chicago's like.
No, you're just never mind.
I work
in ultimatums.
Yeah, so like I couldn't just go work somewhere in another state. So that would be something that they would have to consider before even asking me to just pack up and go, because I would never put myself in a situation where I'm not able to support myself in some way, shape, or form. And because I've known a lot of people who've put themselves in those situations where they give up something for the significant other, like they sell their house, and move in with the other person, or, give up whatever dream job they have and stay at home. And then they always find themselves in a position where now they're stranded or they're reliant on the other person, or I would never put myself in that situation. So
I feel like there's not a single city in this country where you couldn't survive on your own. And if that's where you're at,
Atlanta.
I could survive in Atlanta.
If before you
Drew knows everything, Meg. God, don't you know that?
I do. I do know everything.
You know it all here.
I do know everything. I've done it. I've done everything. I've done the whole living life thing.
How old are you, Drew?
I'm 25. I live by myself. I support myself. I live 15 hours away from any family. Everything I have, I created.
I was supporting myself at 24.
100%. And Lydia, listen, you're the only person.
I was supporting other people by the time I was
Lydia, you were supporting somebody else. I was responsible enough to make sure I didn't have to support anybody else.
At 24, I was supporting myself on my own, by myself, my own income. End of period. I had moved away from home, hours away from home.
And you're doing great.
In a brand new career at a men's prison,
And Lydia, I have spoken outside of this podcast about how I respect
humble
you
yourself,
more than anybody else.
Humble yourself.
I did humble myself, and I came out on top, and I'm the fucking best. And I'm going to keep it that fucking way. And I'm going to keep it that fucking way. Somebody's got to be the best, and it's fucking me. All right?
I'll give you your gold star later.
I don't need a gold
star. The best because she does all the research.
But Lydia, I have spoken so many times about how I respect you so fucking much. I really have. I've talked to Roger. I've talked to Megan about it.
Yeah,
I can tell that you've worked your ass off. I know. I can tell you've worked your ass off. But what I'm saying is that my age gets brought up a lot, but I've accomplished more than a fuck ton of fucking people. And I'm here, and I have wisdom that I shouldn't have, and it's because of the bullshit I went through. But at the end of the day, you couldn't put me in any other state and where I wouldn't be able to fucking survive, because you should be dependent on yourself, and there should never be a situation where you're in a relationship and you depend on that person to take care of you.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's where ultimately.
But that's also your problem. Why are you dependent on that person?
Put you in that they put you in that situation because they gave into the ultimatum.
Give that up.
Yeah, because if you loved me, you would give up your job. So they do, and now they're dependent on their spouse.
I think the problem is that Drew has never had to consider that or that possibility because he's a man, and that more often gets asked of women. I hate to say it that way.
And that's not a stab at you, Drew. That's not.
No. I'm gonna take my privilege and use it. A lot of people like to deny their privilege. I'm gonna use mine. Because I got it. I won the lottery. I'm a straight white male in America. Why would I fucking give that up? I'm going to fucking use that shit.
Historically, you're on the winning side.
100%. But I do like to point out that my family came here from Germany after slavery, but before the Holocaust. So I'm 100% innocent in that sense. But I will use the fact that I can get pulled over and not get shot as a benefit. I'm not going to complain about it.
Not in Atlanta.
I would never go to Atlanta.
Now, if I do get shot and killed, what are the real consequences?
You're fucked.
I'm dead, right?
Yeah.
So all my problems are gone.
And they're on someone else.
Right. New problems have been created.
No. Yeah. Now I don't care about other people's problems.
But help me understand how this relates to the ultimatum situation of like women get asked to give up their,
but they should be able
more often.
Okay, so I already said earlier that if you're working your dream job, there's no situation where you should have to leave it. Now, if you're working just a job and you can do that job somewhere else and the opportunity to make your family life better is there, you should go 100%. Okay, so you can't teach in Texas. I'm not going to ask why, but you're telling me that Chicago, Illinois is the only state you can teach in?
Well, Chicago's not a state, Drew.
Okay, Chicago, Illinois is the only place that you can teach in. That's what you're telling me.
I don't teach in the city of Chicago.
Okay, Illinois is the only state you can teach in.
It is the only state that I am licensed to teach in. Like if I were to go to, let's say, Wisconsin, I would have to go back to college and take a couple different courses in order to be certified there. Now, that's one situation where I couldn't, and that's just a licensing issue. There's other situations where the curriculum that I teach and that I'm comfortable teaching isn't necessarily accepted.
Or a necessity, like they cut the art program or something. Is that what you're saying?
No. So being in art, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Art is often on the side of the oppressed. It tells a true story.
So you don't think
and I'm not gonna lie. I'm also not going to not show good art that is relevant to people's lives.
So people are too racist in other states for you to be an art teacher.
Not even just racist.
Homophobic, racist, oppressive. Okay. So other states don't have art programs. So what if you could go to a different state and make it a better state by bringing the progressiveness that you have to that state?
I would get fired before I could do anything.
I don't know. I think you assume that every state is just one type of person.
No, I know for a fact, like if I were to go to Florida, I would be fired by week.
Depends on what city. Austin, Texas is
Florida,
fucking California. Like Austin or Texas is the most conservative state there is. You go to Austin, it's nothing but gay libtards. So like
use better words, but
I don't want to use better words.
Also could not teach many places in Texas.
Their streets are painted rainbow. That's cool.
They are in Atlanta too.
Yeah, there you go. So you could teach in Atlanta. Every state has, the big cities are almost always either very diverse, mixed in terms of opinions, or liberal for the most part, actually. So you could almost teach anywhere.
Now we're way off topic.
We are.
No, we're talking about ultimatums.
That's something that I don't even like to talk about, by the way. But since Roger outed me before, might as well.
Wait, how do you out you? Are we not supposed to talk about that you're a teacher?
I didn't want anybody to know that I was a teacher. No.
I thought you've stated that you're a teacher in the past.
No, I told you guys that. But no, we're way off topic on that. But no, like I couldn't necessarily go teach anywhere. Like I couldn't necessarily go work anywhere. And if somebody asked me to give that up, I would probably be like, all right, bye. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, if Chicago's the only place you can teach.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can move somewhere warm and teach, 110%, I'm out. Like,
no, if Chicago's the only place you can teach, then that's the only place you can teach. And I respect all teachers because you have to love that job to do it. You don't get paid nearly enough.
No.
You have to actually love it. So 100%. If Chicago's the only place you can teach, then whatever guy you're dating should have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, guys. Our topic today was ultimatums in relationships. If you loved me, you would. Now, we had a lot of diverse conversation here. And I think overall, based on the situation, I think we all agree that, ultimatums can be in place if depending on what that situation is. So feel free to keep commenting in the chats. Reshare the episode. Let everybody know about the Love on the Rocks podcast. And we're on every podcast platform. So I do want to thank Lydia for joining us today. Also, Rachel, Drew, Crystal, and of course, my beautiful, talented co-host, Megan Bennett.
Roger, she's taken. Stop flirting.
I know. So
True.
So, anyways, guys, you guys have yourself a great night, and we'll see you guys next week on Love on the Rocks.
Bye.